Hello everyone, here's Rafael from Beazy, and today we're gonna talk about how to find the right photographer for your business. So let's start from the beginning. First, let's talk why would you need a professional photographer to take photos for your brand. At this day and age, we are getting bombarded with tons and tons of advertisings and images and videos every single day, every single minute even, I would say. So for you to have a very good quality image can make your brand stand out from the rest of the competition. So it's kind of that first impression kind of thing. If you give a customer a bad first impression, maybe it's gonna be hard for convincing them to do business with you. So that's why it's so important to have very high quality visuals related to your brand. And maybe you are thinking like, oh, but I can just go and buy some stock photos. They are done by professional photographers as well. So I don't need really a professional photographer to take photos for my brand. That is a valid argument, but they are available for anyone who is willing to pay the fee, or even worse, for free. So if you use a stock image, you are at risk of having your brand associated with an image that was already associated with many other brands with different contexts than yours. So you don't have that personalized kind of feeling. So if you need a personalized kind of feeling, you should take your own photos. And this way, you don't have the problem that other brands with other contents are using the same image. And also you can create your personality in that photo. So the bottom line here is that especially today with social media and people having like consuming visual content every single second, to stand out from the competition, you do need high quality and consistent content that is personalized and custom to your brand. When you have consistency in both the quality of the visuals and the clarity of your message, that's when you start gaining not only customers, but loyal users. Okay, now we covered why you should probably be working closely with a professional photographer if you want your brand to stand out. Then it comes a very tricky part, how to find this photographer, the right photographer for your brand. Well, that can be very tricky, especially if you don't know the industry and you don't know any photographers at all. So what then is the best way to find the photographer? I would say the first one is to ask other people who have experience with photographers to give you suggestions or recommendations. But here there is a very tricky thing. You must know exactly what you want for your brand. Why? Because if you ask someone who just got married 6 months ago if they know a really nice photographer, they will probably recommend the wedding photographer. But the wedding photographer maybe doesn't know much about fashion photography or even portrait per se. Or maybe you are trying to sell, like you're in the real estate business and you need an architectural photographer. So it's very, very important for you to have a vision of what kind of content you need before you start looking. So after you have the vision, you can start looking also in social media, for example. You have a lot of like Facebook groups, or Instagram is a great place to find new nice photographers. The problem with social media is that you can see the images, but you don't really know how much experience this person has in a professional environment. Because it's a very different when you take photos for hobby and for professional reasons. You have way more pressure, you need to have like your photos delivered in a certain time, you need to have like contracts, photo releases. There is a whole other world that you need to learn when you become a professional photographer. And if you want a very good photographer that is not gonna bring you any issues, being it in like payment, delivery of the photos or everything, you probably should be looking with a photographer that have some professional experience. And with that, you can first contact them on social media and ask for past work. So in this way, you can know if this person is more of like a hobbyist photographer, if it's more into professional, because unfortunately, as we said, everyone can be a photographer these days. Everybody has a camera in their pocket. So it's a lot. What makes or breaks, what differentiates is how much study did you put in, how many hours of experience do you have, how many shoots you've already done. So all of this you will not just see from the photos. It's probably a good idea also to book like interviews or like little chats with the photographer to understand how much experience in a certain area he or she has. You should always look also for the photographer that has the style, not only like a portrait photographers. You can have different styles of portrait photography. Some photographers use more wider lenses and have more photos of not only the subject but also the environment. Some others are way better when you have like closer up. Some have more like heavy post-processing. Some have more like soft post-processing. So all of these, just for different portraits photographers, they will deliver for very different results, even though they're all specialized in one area. The last way you can also do it is to create a job advertiser. And this, you can just post it somewhere and the photographers will contact you. That's probably will be a bit more costly, but you won't spend as much time. And you can always also go to an agency that has a lot of photographers that they work with. But again, that will also increase a lot the budget that you need. So you either have to spend a lot of time or money. And this is basically one of the problems we try to solve with Beazy. We want to make content production easy. So that means that you don't have to spend a lot of time or break your bank in order to find the right creative to bring your marketing message across. Beazy is the one-stop shop for content production. Whether you are a big or a small brand, we got your back. With a big community of creatives, a wide range of locations and professional equipment, you have all you need to get your message across. Okay folks, that will be it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. If you find this content helpful, please consider leaving a like. It really helps us out. If you want to know more of topics around the creative industry and digital marketing and so on, go check out our blog. The link is going to be in the description below. What else you can do is also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos around the topic. And let us know in the comments what was so far the best way to find a photographer, because I bet after looking at Beazy, you change your mind. Okay, thanks a lot for watching and I see you guys in the next one.